It's good.
Yeah, I'm the
What are you
same
drinking?
thing. I
Oh,
like to go
sorry.
to Newberry and just look at the wall of Funko Pops just to see what's out there.
It's like a Funko museum.
It is because we're the same way. We never had like a focus. We were like we will buy like one Funko from different fandoms we're into to like represent that interest. So like we don't have like complete sets or anything. We have like a Buffy one and a Firefly one and like I have a Space Ghost one. You know what I mean? Like there's no rhyme or reason. It's just like you kind of find a show you like, you grab one Funko that represents what aspect of that show you like, and that's it. But we haven't done that in a while. Actually, I did buy for Valentine's Day. I actually did buy my wife the and I can say this because I already gave it to her early.
Mm.
They did a Hamilton set, and
Oh,
so
okay.
I got her Alexandra Hamilton and Aaron Burr.
Okay.
Yeah, but otherwise,
Well,
we don't do it much. But you do find fun little things like that when you're.
I follow the subreddit for Funko collectors just to see what people are up to, and there are people who just like will fill their house with Funko Pops,
And some of
and
them.
I'm like,
Go ahead.
"Hmm?" I was gonna say it's so much money, especially like people who don't take them out of the boxes and like you know they're barely on display. Like, why would you spend so much money on something you're gonna like not even like be able to display properly because you're just keeping them all in the boxes and like out of the sunlight where people can't see them? I'm like, I don't understand the appeal if you're not just gonna have it sitting on your desk.
All of mine are in their boxes because I have them on shelves, and that way I can stack them easier,
Hmm.
like as like a display. But I kind of agree, and some of them are like worth a lot of money. I had one that was like $10. I don't know if it still is, but it was like a limited edition. It was the Scarlet Spider from Spider-Man, and for a while it was worth like 100. It's like,
Yeah, I have one set that I think is worth like over $100. It was like a convention exclusive Rick and Morty. It was like Rick and Summer from some convention like in 2018 that I picked up at Target that was before Rick and Morty was as big as it is now. So I think it's kind of sought after, but the set's like $200. I spent $20 on it. I'm not gonna sell it because I'm not gonna. I don't want to like it.
yeah, that's the thing. I have some comics that are worth like a lot of money because they're out of print now, and I'm like, but I really like it. Like,
Oh yeah, I might at some point go through my comic books and like actually start selling some of that stuff off. Because that's what I always said I was gonna do when I was a little kid. I was like, I'm gonna sell these when I'm an adult for a lot of money and I'm gonna be super rich. And now I'm like, well, if I get most of the money I spent back on this 20 some odd years ago, that's
it's a
gonna be a big
wash.
win for me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's good. Like I'm never gonna, I have what is it? I have one of the first appearance of the black suit for Spider-Man.
yes,
I
I do
got it at like
too.
an auction when I was 12. And I was like, "Oh, this is such a big deal." And I'm like, "It's just been sitting in a bag in a box for the
What
last 20 something years."
what I actually just did because I was thinking the same thing, and I have some of the big ones. I have the first appearance of the black suit. I have like the death of Superman. I have some like iconic covers. So I bought a bunch of comic frames.
Mhm.
I bought a 6 pack for like $20, and I'm just gonna put like not all of them, but like some of the big cool classic titles that I have, and I'm just gonna frame them and put them up in my office.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
good decoration.
exactly. Like I have like uh Turok the Dinosaur Hunter #1 with like the foil cover from the 90s when he was
Oh, I
Ralph.
remember that. I
Yeah,
remember that.
and cuz like Turok was one of the ones I got really into with my dad. And
Mhm.
so like and that is the only freaking Turok throughout history. So there's been like 9 iterations that doesn't have a trade paperback collection.
Oh.
So I actually have two #1s of that because I'd always intended on kind of getting them bound into a trade. But I was like, I have two #1s. I'm just gonna frame this one. That's a radical cover. It's art now. So some of this stuff is turning into art. I found all my old like Atari like the pamphlet books that came with the games. I don't have the games anymore, but I still have the books. So
Oh,
I'm gonna turn a lot of them into
nice.
like a mosaic on my wall. Like all this stuff that I kept for whatever reason, I'm just gonna try and kind of turn into art.
I like that idea. No, it's good decoration. It's
Like,
good for an office.
yeah, I have some old Commodore 64 floppy disks, like some classic ones, and I'm like, these demagnetized a decade ago. Like they don't
These
even
will never work.
they will literally never work. The magnet, like those things were like built to be magnetized for like 20 years. It's been almost 40. They are literally just plastic, but they could be cool like wall art.
Mhm.
So, I digress.
Good digress. That was a good digress. It's
Yeah, I
good.
like it. All right. What have you been doing with your adult time, Sam?
I recently watched a film from, I think it was from 2015. It was released in the US as The Lure, and it is a. I think it again. It's another movie that I think it shares some of the body horror DNA with Little Monsters. It is a horror musical about mermaids that takes place in 1980s Poland. Polish movie came out a couple of years ago. It is the weirdest, one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen, and it is a total trip. It feels like it is a modern day terrifying retelling of The Little Mermaid. And the soundtrack slaps. All in
Okay.
Polish, though. All in Polish. And I can tell you, as someone who's spent time in Poland, I speak zero Polish, still enjoyed this film. Check out The
Nice.
Lure if you want. Again, it's some freaky body horror, but since we're talking about body horror anyway, if you're in the mood for an adult body horror movie, check out The Lure.
All right. I
What you see?
have
What have you been
been
adulting?
watching I never watched or listened to Critical Role, the podcast slash YouTube stream.
Hmm?
But Amazon just turned, I guess, their first arc into a animated series. It's called
Oh yeah, I heard about
Legend
that.
of Vox Machina. I'm really enjoying it. Again, I'm going in completely fresh. I had always kind of wanted to get into Critical Role, and then I saw season one had like 1,400 3 to 4 hour episodes, and that was just season one. I was like, no, like I don't. I did the math, and that is literally like 6 months of my life to listen to all of this, just like 24 hours a
Oh
day.
yeah,
It was
some of the deep podcast holes are just too deep.
it's too deep, and people were like, it's really good, and I was like, it's too deep. And now it's an animated series, and they're compressing like each of those episodes into like a 25 to 30 minute thing, and it's much more digestible now. So I'm really enjoying it. If you like D&D or any of that stuff, or even just kind of like a fantasy, they do have. Did you watch Castlevania on Netflix?
I watched the first season, but that was
It
it.
has the same animation style and
Oh,
kind of
okay.
gloomy world feel to it. So it kind of has like it's not necessarily a spooky campaign setting, but they kind of have that atmosphere. And the second arc that we're in right now, because they're releasing it in batches, does play place in like a spooky Transylvanian type of a world. So that's kind of what I've been doing with my adult time is enjoying that. I
I
was
get.
not sure after the first two episodes, but I pushed through and I've been really enjoying it.
Nice.
And I do like a lot of the people in it. A lot of the people are voice actors in a lot of popular anime and video games. So, I like to support people that I like in other things. And they have a
Mhm.
lot of fun guest stars. So, since it started off as a D&D podcast, Matt Mercer, the DM, voiced every NPC, and he was like, I'm not doing that for the cartoon. So they've got a lot of big name people for a lot of the big popular fan favorite NPCs to come in, like David Tennant and stuff come in off the bat just voicing people, and that's really cool. You get Pippin or Mary from Lord of the Rings, and like just a lot of big names in geekdom are here lending their voices to it. So it's a good way to support your people if that's how you like to support them.